Do you feel like healing's a bit of a mystery, like you're trying lots of different things and they're just not gelling? I was in exactly the same situation until I worked out for me what was required to get healing underway. So in this video, I'm going to cover some of my top do's and don'ts, things that I learnt during my recovery that helped me get healing underway. If you're new here, I'm Rachel and I help people who have been dealing with the burnout from chronic illness move beyond the emotional barriers that are holding them back in their recovery. So grab a cup of tea and let's get into the video. So healing stories can be really inspirational. I used them when I was recovering, but they can also be used as a way to beat ourselves up. We can either compare the time it's taking us to get better or the things we're doing with something that someone else is doing. Then we feel like we're failing, or we set expectations on ourselves that we just can't meet. Everyone's unique. Our bodies, our environments, our past, our personalities, and also our financial circumstances, they're all different. And our healing path is not going to look the same as someone else's, and that's perfectly okay. Just like anything in life, run your own race. Now, this is something I was really guilty of. When we're trying to heal, we can go very much with the more is more mantra and layer on too many things. And unfortunately, doing too many things at once stops us from being able to identify what's working and what isn't. So we don't know what is a waste of time or money. And it's really tempting to think that the more we do, the faster we're going to get results. But what it can do is make things feel like a chore, leave us in a state of overwhelm, but also it means that the things that are working, we're not doing enough of to really have the impact that we want it to have. Healing's not about trying to work hard to get yourself out of a situation. And it was only when I got really exhausted and unable to do any more, I was fed up with the overwhelm, that I started to pare it down. And it was medical medium and working on my emotional health, which really made the difference for me. I spent decades banging my head against a brick wall thinking that healing was just about the body. So I spent a lot of time and money focusing on food and supplementation, believing that if I could just get the right thing, that recovery would happen. But if you've been trying to heal for some time or just starting out, there are other things. And one of the reasons I started this channel is because I want people to start the emotional stuff much earlier. Because had I started them earlier, I would have had greater success. So I see some comments on this channel, but also in the wider social media. Things like, I've been doing celery juice for 2 weeks and nothing's changed. Now, this isn't to shame anyone, but you need to know you're asking your body to do some very intricate repair work at a cellular level. A couple of weeks on a new protocol or trying something new really isn't long enough to know if something's going to work or not. So when you're impatient with what you're doing, you're really being impatient with yourself. That not only adds to your stress burden, but stops you giving protocols a chance to work. We've had enough of the don'ts. Let's do some do's. I know I always say this, but your emotional health is so important. If you're anxious all the time or feeling intense emotions like frustration, anger, sadness, your body's really not going to be relaxed enough to do its healing work. Or you might be in something which is a little bit more overwhelming, which I call healing burnout. It's where you've been sick a very long time and the illness and some of the experiences of the illness and the situations surrounding them can become traumas in themselves. And these can really hold back our recovery. If you want to get your healing running at this pace that you're expecting, that you couple the physical recovery with the emotional healing. Not only is it going to help you get out of that struggle and fight, but it's going to give you clarity, it'll bring calm. And it will remove some of the deep emotional barriers to healing that you may be having. I know when people tell their healing stories, it can seem like one moment they were sick and they did something and the next moment they were well. And that just isn't the case. When I started Medical Medium, I felt better for a month, and then I felt really bad for a couple of months. Then I'd get days that were better and then other days that were really bad. Healing really is an up and down affair, and sometimes no 2 days can feel the same. And that's because we don't live in isolation. We're not in a petri dish. Sometimes we can get more stress than other times. Sometimes the temperature and the weather is different. And sometimes our bodies are doing so much repair that they want to take us out of action while they do that. So don't get downhearted or think you're getting worse when you get a short flare. That's what healing's about, ups and downs, and it's something that anybody who has healed has been through. Rest is so important. But often it's not something we prioritise when we've got all these other healing activities to do. I remember those days when I used to spend hours in the kitchen, then I would be doing yoga, when really my body was just crying out for some rest. My mind was crying out for some rest. And I really felt I had to do everything perfectly in order to heal. So rest, that was at the back of the queue. And it was when I took my foot off the gas and stopped doing some of those things and actually prioritized rest that my body had the chance to do its repair work. Towards the end of my recovery, when I started to feel like things were happening, I was doing less than I was doing when I first started trying to recover. And that tells you everything you need to know. Now, focusing your time and your thoughts on recovery is really important. But we also need some downtime. You can't be working all the time. And if all we're thinking about is our health and everything we need to do for it, we are working all the time. And it can make us feel like we've got no life, and it can make us feel really sad. So something I found useful was to try to do something each day that had absolutely nothing to do with being unwell or healing. Something that took my mind off recovery and onto other things. And no matter how small it is, it's important. So my things were music, squirrel watching and feeding, and guinea pig fostering. And I'm sorry, but I'm going to try and squeeze a rodent into every single video. I will try this year. And it helped me care about something else or someone else besides myself. And it got me out of the illness. And these things gave me a lot of joy. And those feelings of joy, they fill us up and they keep us going through some of the tough times. And these are great feelings for your body. So let me know in the comments what's one thing that you can add into your day that's completely unrelated to healing that might give you a little bit of a boost in some way. There's so much advice I would have given my chronically ill self. If you'd like to see what some of that is, make sure you check out this video next. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.